Culture for Seniors is proud to present Words of Wisdom, a video and podcast series in which inspiring seniors talk about different subjects.
In this third season of Words of Wisdom, I'm meeting Joan Pye, Mary Goodfellow, and Richard Goodfellow at the Public Library of Val-des-Sources, right here in the Eastern Townships. And I can tell you, I'm really curious to hear their stories. My name is Ed Humphrey, and I'm a project manager with Townshippers Association, a proud partner of Culture for Seniors.
My name is Joan Blair. I'm 83, and I'm originally from Dalhousie Junction, New Brunswick. I have two sons, and they're in their 50s now. And each son has one son, and one son has an adopted daughter.
Hey, Joan, throughout your lifetime, what types of arts and culture have you been involved in?
Well, I taught home economics, and I taught the food, and I also taught the clothing. And during the time I was teaching, plus later, I did art, and I painted with oil. I never liked painting with pastels. I quilted. I sewed all kinds of different types, like tailoring as well as the other type. And now there's a symposium in Danville for the last, I don't know how many years, but I always go around to the symposium a couple of times because I usually follow somebody that's making one particular painting, and I want to see the evolution of the painting during the week. I really like music too. I like to sing. I love to dance. Anything to do with music. Love to listen to someone else play.
Joan, you come across as a pretty happy person. So what in life or in your daily life makes you feel good?
Well, when I get up in the morning, I have a routine. First, I let my cat out. Then, before or after I do my exercise, I open my garage door to let my neighbor, who lives 2 streets up, see that I'm up and living. And that's our way of communicating. Then I talk to her about 8 o'clock in the morning. Also, during the summer, I usually get dressed, and for an hour, I work in the garden as long as the mosquitoes are not out. But the day the mosquitoes are out, they like me too much. Any day that I'm down and I want to feel better, I have a disc, I think they're called discs, put on, and the drummer in it happens to be my nephew, who is an Acadian from New Brunswick. But it's got such nice beats to it, it really relaxes you.
When you think about your life, is there anything that you're particularly proud of?
Yes, I'm proud. I have 2 sons, and they're good human beings. And I'm also proud of the fact I was a fairly good curler. I was able to take teams out of town, and I knew that I was pretty good when the best female curler in the club would curl for me. Another thing I'm proud of is about 40 years ago, a friend and I formed an investment club for females because we wanted to learn about investment. And this was a way we could have speakers come in when you have a group of people together, and then we'd meet in different houses, and they'd come in and talk about investments. It was called the FFIC, the Female Financial Investment Club.
Well, Joan, as you know, this series is called Words of Wisdom. Now, when we think about everything that you've done in your life, and you've been very busy, I'd like to hear some of your words of wisdom.
My words of wisdom, you've heard what goes around comes around. And I think if you love everybody, what you put out will come back to you. If you're happy, you make the other person happy. If you're not happy, if you're glum, it drags someone down. It certainly doesn't lift them up. And there are other sayings that go with what you reap, what you sow. And there is a reason for that, because if you give it out, you're going to get the same thing back.
My name is Mary Goodfellow. I've been married to Richard Goodfellow for 49 years, and I'm 72 years old. I got married to Richard, and we have 3 children and 7 grandchildren. I trained as a teacher, and I worked for 1 year as a teacher, well, 1 and a bit, and then I was married, so it was okay to have a baby, which I did. And I had 3 children, and with my children, I stayed home looking after them. And when my little boy turned 8 years old, I put my name in to be a substitute teacher. So I did that for maybe 15 years.
And Mary, can you tell us what type of arts or cultural activities you used to do as a teenager or as a young person?
I was in a folk singing club, and we put on a performance called a hootenanny, where we would sing folk songs with guitars and a big group of young people. And I still sing just to myself because older people don't sound too good, except professionals.
Now, in your daily life, what are some of the things that make you feel good?
I am a Christian. I read a verse of the day every day on my computer, and I write it in a book in my own words. My husband is the light of my life. I don't like to think of not having him in my life, but I have all these 7 young grandchildren. And they are my delight. I've always loved children, and now I have 7 of them. I like to sing, and music. It's important to me when you're feeling sort of lethargic or even sick. Music can perk you right up. So I like music a lot. We have a garden since we've lived in our farm for 48 years. And I go out after supper to work in my garden. I don't go out in the sun because I don't have a tractor with a cab on it like he does.
I'm kind of curious, is there anything in particular for which you're really proud?
My children, they're all educated. They all have always had a job. They're very hardworking. And their children, my grandchildren, are pretty much the same, although they're young.
Well, Mary, it's really clear that faith has a huge role in your life. So what lessons have you learned through your faith that you could share with us today?
Love and kindness are powerful forces in the world. So be loving, be kind in the way that Jesus has modeled for us.
Thanks, Mary.
My name is Richard Goodfellow. I'm 72 years old. I was born and raised in Sherbrooke, Quebec. I worked 10 years in Drummondville for a company which is now closed, Dennison Manufacturing. I then went to work for Cascades in Kingsley Falls, where I worked for 26 years.
Richard, I understand that you're a person that really likes artistic and cultural events.
I like preferably country music, the old style country music. Food, even though it's probably not regarded as cultural, but I feel it's sort of like culture. I like to eat, and I like to go out to eat sometimes. I like to relax and have food brought and choose what foods you eat, and just sit and relax and eat. I like to do that, even at home.
So what types of shows or entertainment do you guys partake in?
Well, we like a lot of shows with music. We've been around to quite a few. Hope we can get around to a lot more.
Well, is there anything in particular in your daily life that makes you feel good?
Well, I'd have to say my wife makes me feel very good. She has a lot of energy, at least it appears that way, actually more than I do. So she's always bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the morning. She gets up and she gets going. I have to almost drag myself out, but once I'm up, I just enjoy living. I enjoy being healthy to start with. We live on a farm. We have some animals still there, some cattle. Just like to go out and look at them. About 4 years ago, purchased or bought a relatively new tractor with a cab, and it is a great thing to drive. In the hot weather, you're cool. In the cold weather, you're hot or warm. So I enjoy that. It's a selfish thing maybe, but that's one of the things I really enjoy, is being outside and being able to get out and see things and do things with a tractor like that.
Richard, tell me about the achievement in your life of which you're the most proud.
I'm proud of our family. Mary and I, we have 3 children, and they're like an extension of ourselves. Like, I mean, you feel that they have somewhat taken on or grown in our image. It just gives you a sense of accomplishment and pride that that started with 2 of us, and now we have 10 of them. And where we live at home is a farm, and it's a beautiful place. We've made many improvements to it, and I feel that we will hopefully can say we left the world our part of the world in a better place.
I'm really curious to get to know your secrets to having so much energy and optimism.
Well, I feel that we're very fortunate to live in Canada, or in the Quebec. This province is a beautiful place to live in. We've gone through a lot of changes in the last 50 or 70 years of our life. However, we probably are intimidated by some of those changes, but at the same time, when you see the outcomes, you can see that wasn't so bad. I've just sort of adopted a theory that maybe you just roll with it, things. Just enjoy what there is to be enjoyed. People in general are really good, really nice people. And we should just accept that we are surrounded by all these good things. And we should adapt to all the changes that do come to us and make the best of it. And get up each day and just keep on going.
As we've noticed, arts and culture play an important role in the lives of Mary, Richard, and Joan, allowing them to be creative, to experience positive emotions, and to have a good time with friends and family. Research has shown us that arts and culture contribute to well-being, which in turn leads to better health. Participating in a cultural activity or simply contemplating a piece of art can increase empathy, reduce anxiety, and stimulate dopamine, the pleasure hormone. On behalf of Culture for Seniors, many thanks to Richard, Mary, and Joan for their participation, their openness, and their sincerity. Their words of wisdom inspire us to make arts and culture a significant part of our daily lives. I'd also like to thank the staff of Val-des-Sources Public Library for their generous contribution.
Visit wordsofwisdom.ca to share your comments and for additional videos and podcasts, because culture makes us feel good.
Okay.